Hello my conscious creators, my name is 𝗘𝗫𝗣𝗟𝗇, and if you're new here, I am here to help you consciously manifest the life that you want. So let's get straight into the video. So today's video is about action and this whole idea about, do you take action or not when you're manifesting, you know, forced action, inspired action, all that kind of stuff. So let's get straight into it. So I read this quote in a book that I read recently actually, and it made me, this is what like inspired this whole video, because it made me think about action when it comes to manifesting. And it was something like, by thought the thing you want is brought to you, and by action you receive it. So when you're first learning about manifesting, and I think definitely at the beginning, even for me, like when you think about manifesting, you're told that your thoughts create your reality, or if you first find out about it and it's all of like the law of attraction stuff, it's all about, you know, you attracting things to you, etc, etc. I talk about the law of assumption first of all, just to put that out there, but I know that if you first hear about manifesting or speaking things into existence, etc, that's how it can kind of be taught. But I think an initial like concept or idea that you get is that, okay, so I can manifest stuff. I can just think about something, I can focus on something, I can have like persistent thoughts about this thing, and then it's just going to manifest. And as silly as it might sound, or it might sound to you now, depending on where you're at in terms of learning and knowing about all this stuff, I think sometimes like a common misconception is, well, if my thoughts create my reality and I'm manifesting all the time and all this kind of stuff, then technically I should just be able to sit there, not just sit there, but you know, I should just be able to focus my mind on a particular thing, decide that I want to manifest a particular thing, and then it basically should just appear to me. I should basically just receive it, and I don't have to do anything, I don't need to take any action, whatever. And I can understand why you would have that mindset, or you would necessarily think that. However, if you really are changing your state of mind when you are manifesting, or when you are focusing on a particular thought, naturally you're going to end up doing certain things that are going to lead you to that thing, or that you would naturally think you need to do. For example, if you're manifesting a job, more than likely you're gonna have to at least apply to the job that it is that you want. If you think about the way the world works, and also I think a big thing is about what kind of action do you naturally feel like you need to do? If it's something like you're trying to manifest followers on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, I would imagine that naturally for a lot of people you would think, okay, well, I at least need to post, because if you're not posting, people aren't seeing your content, it's going to be that much harder for you to gain followers. So when it comes to action, I'm here to say, first of all, there's nothing wrong with taking action. The main thing is about where your mindset is at, and where your thoughts are at, and what place you're acting from when it comes to taking that particular action. So when it comes to taking action with something that you're trying to manifest, you should never force action. If you're forcing an action, it's probably coming from more of a state of fear and doubt that if you don't do this thing, or let me try and do this particular thing to force the manifestation to happen, force a particular thing. If you're doing that and that's the kind of action that you're taking, you better stop, because that is not what's going to manifest it for you. First of all, doing the action outside of you is not what manifests. It's not the action itself that manifests or causes something to manifest. It's your mindset. Everything starts with your mind. Everything starts with your thoughts. So it's more about the intention and the thoughts you're having before you take that particular action that is gonna bring that thing into your experience, that's going to go towards that manifestation. But it's not about the action itself, which is in the same sentence. It's the same way that like when you're doing a particular technique, it's not the technique itself that's manifesting for you. It's not the fact that you have scripted or you visualized or whatever. It's about your mind. Like everything to do with this manifestation stuff is just about your mind, your state of mind, your thoughts, your persistent thoughts, the things you dwell on, etc., etc. So when it comes to action, it's about the thoughts and the mindset you have before you take that particular action. So when you are trying to manifest a particular thing and there is an action that you want to take towards that thing, always think to yourself, or even ask yourself, or just evaluate for yourself, what position am I at? Like, from what state of mind and what position am I taking this action from? If when you ask yourself that question, you know deep down you're doing it out of fear, you're doing it because you feel like you need to force doing this particular thing to get a certain result, then don't do it. Taking this action from a place of trust, and you just know within yourself, like, you're taking this action because you trust yourself. It's not coming from a state of fear. It's not coming from a mind of, oh my gosh, even if it's not taking it's not coming from a state of mind of, oh my gosh, if I don't take this action, then it's not going to manifest. Or if I need to, in more of like a desperation, forceful kind of way, I need to do this action to get this particular thing, then that's just when you shouldn't do it. As I said before, because what causes that particular result is not necessarily the action itself, it's the intent and the energy behind that particular action that is going to cause a particular result for you. It's not directly the action itself. So when it comes to about, like I said, the intent or the energy behind the action, if that intent or that energy behind it is fear, you're just gonna continue to see a result of something that you don't want, because you're acting out of fear, and it's that fear that's gonna manifest for you. It's that feeling that you don't have that thing, or like you don't have that thing right now, so you need to do this, like you need to force it, that it's going to cause a result of you continuing to not have that particular thing. If your action is coming from, if your intent and your energy behind that action is not that, and it's done in trust, and it's done in faith that that thing is there for you, that is what will cause the result, not the action itself directly. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing, which is the phrases of forced and inspired action. When it comes to both of them themselves, they're both just actions with it. Like, they're both just actions within themselves. Again, as I said earlier, it's more about the intent and the energy behind that particular action. So when it comes to forced action, again, they're both action, and it depends on the intent behind it. So when it comes to forced action, if it's a forced action, it's coming from an intent and it's coming from a place and an energy of fear. If it is an inspired action, then it's coming from a place and a position of trust, just to do with the intent behind that particular action. And I think you normally know where you're acting from. Like, you know, I feel like majority of us know deep down within ourselves where we're taking that action from, and if we're doing a particular thing, are we doing it to like force a particular outcome, and we're doing it because we're scared and we feel like we really need to do this thing, but it's coming from fear? Or is it just a general, I want to do this thing, I have a good intention behind it, and it just feels more like natural, and just, I'm just going to do this thing because it feels like the right thing to do. So the main bottom line when it comes to action and taking action when you're manifesting is to look at your attitude, look at your intent behind the action that you're taking, look at, the reasons for you taking that particular action. Sit there and ask yourself, am I doing this out of fear right now? And it's also about knowing that whatever it is you are affirming, for example, if it's a job, I have a job at, insert that particular place that you have the job at. Naturally, based on what you are affirming, your attitude and your actions are going to naturally change according to that thing. So if it feels natural, it feels right, you're acting from a place of trust to then apply to that particular place, to apply for certain things, or to do, let's just take the job thing out of it, whatever the affirmation is, if it's coming from a place of trust and it's coming from you taking that particular action out of trust, then of course take the action. If it's coming from a place of fear and you feeling desperate and you feeling doubt and you feeling worried about it, or about you not having your particular affirmation and you needing to do this thing out of desperation, then don't do it. yeah, that's basically it. When it comes to action, it's just your attitude behind it. So yeah, I hope this video has helped. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.